Welcome to the Backlash at Backlash.com. My name is Rod Van Mechelen, and in this video I want to talk a little bit about the economy and politics. I hope all of you are going to Martin Armstrong's blog every day now. Some of what I will say today comes from what I understand from him. I also want to draw your attention to Greg Mannarino. Pay a special attention to the video he posted today, linked below. The global economy is in trouble, and so are we. The American economy may be the cleanest dirty shirt in the hamper, but hard times are looming on the horizon, and you want to be prepared when the feathers hit the fan. Martin Armstrong has an idea for how we can dig our way out of that, and you can find the link to my video on that subject below as well. Martin Armstrong's model forecasts that the debt bubble will begin to collapse, starting with the sovereign debt this coming October. The bond market is huge. It dwarfs the stock market, so if a stock market crash is bad, then a bond market crash is orders of magnitude worse. In one of his articles, Bill Bonner suggested that the ATMs might stop working for a while and cash will be hard to come by. So you might want to set aside some cash, maybe enough to buy gas, groceries, and maybe even pay rent for a month or two. Food and water might be hard to come by for a few months as well, so it would be a good idea to store enough to tide you over. Guns and ammo don't sit well with some people, but in a crisis, if a gang of thugs come banging on your door, you want the means to protect yourself and your loved ones. So think about that. In addition to following Armstrong's blog and Greg Mannarino's vlog, I also subscribe to Gary Savage's blog, and both to paid subscribers and in public interviews, Gary Savage says he expects gold and silver to slump through the summer, and Martin Armstrong agrees. I also think Martin Armstrong is expecting the stock market to dip this year, but that when this bond market begins to collapse, that within a few months, the money fleeing bonds will flow into stocks, and that stocks will turn into a bubble that will rise well into 2017 before that market also collapses. So where can you put your money? Martin Armstrong likes real estate and says buying rural property where you can go to weather the bad times is appealing. Greg Mannarino likes silver, as does Chris Dwayne. While I have bought some silver, I'm not buying any right now because I think Gary Savage and Martin Armstrong are right, and the price will go lower this summer. I also have some stocks, but I think you need to be careful about investing through a brokerage that actually buys and holds the stocks you order in your account. Some companies don't do that, while others do buy them, but then hypothecate or use them as collateral. So I do my investing through a company that actually buys and holds them for me, and you may want to do the same. So to review, have enough cash on hand to get by for at least a few weeks, have supplies for a few months, consider buying a rural property where you can live, consider buying some silver and gold later this summer when prices may go down. Martin Armstrong says that gold is not a hedge against inflation, but a hedge against the government. I'm not totally convinced of the former, but I definitely agree with the latter. Do I own land? No. If I had the money, I'd pay cash to buy a rural property with some acreage for a small farm, but personally, I would not go into debt to buy land, not right now. I expect the prices to drop. Politics, let's talk about that for a moment. In 2008, it seemed obvious to me that John McCain was not running to win. It was all for show. The Republicans wanted the Democrats to inherit the 2007 recession. That's what I thought. I do not believe that the recession, which has since turned into a depression, is a Republican versus Democrats thing. Both parties are complicit in creating this slow-motion economic avalanche and destroying the middle class. One party takes over, squeezes us, then hands off to the next, which squeezes us. Back and forth it goes. So regardless of whether Hillary Clinton runs in 2016, I think that the GOP is slated to win unless, by some miracle, Rand Paul is nominated. Goldman and the other New York banksters do not want Rand Paul to be elected, although they might allow it to happen so they can blame him and the rest of us who want to return to the Constitution, liberty, and the Bill of Rights for the impending economic disaster. Martin Armstrong says he believes that it's not the Rothschilds or the Bilderbergers or any other multi-generation dynasty orchestrating things, but that the center of global power rests in New York with the bankers, and that Goldman Sachs sits at the top. His explanation makes sense, and you can find it on his blog. Martin Armstrong's computer models forecast a very rough 5 years directly ahead of us. I'm doing my best to prepare, and I hope you will too. Check out the other videos, subscribe to the channel. For the Backlash at Backlash.com, my name is Rod Van Mechelen.